you're going to start in the next 15 minutes. I don't know, means you got to start it. So will it start in the next 15 minutes? Just a sec. Hello. Hello all. So we are going to start now. So let me close the music, and yeah. So we are going to start now. Somehow it got started early. I don't know, but we are going to start now. Hello all. So hope you're all doing good. So this is the one of the final week. Means every time the first week is CSS. Most of you are coming from some HTML courses. Means you have done one of my workshop on a Saturdays. After that, you have then come to know about me. Started doing the CSS thing. As I always say, this is a 3-week course. Okay, 3-week course is there, which can make you a web app developer. So first week is CSS week. Second week is JavaScript week. This is the third week. This is the ReactJS week. And fourth week generally I do anything. And this time I don't know how, means this month I have 5 weeks. So fourth week will be Redux week, which is again a very important thing. So because Redux is something, if you're going to give a React.js job, they are going to ask you always. So this your fourth week is Redux week, and fifth week is on popular demand, and I also wanted to do it for a long time. Fifth week is this time. It is 5 weeks generally it doesn't happen. It is React Native. So React always means next 3 week is also all React, Redux, and React Native. Everything is related to React only. So you are a good place if you are here. It's a good place, and I will also love to teach all these things. Okay, so let me start video now, and as always, the attendance will be given at the end. Okay. Yeah. So let us start with React.js. And what is this React.js? What is this first about? What is this on React.js and all? So let us get started with that. And okay. Okay. So React.js is something, means is a JavaScript library, and it is not a framework like Angular. Okay, so the first thing is that it is not a framework; it's a library, and it is used to build user interfaces and focuses on the UI. And it's a very rich ecosystem. You can add functionality with 1,000 of available NPM packages. And even before I tell all these things, what I'm going to do is like I'm going to start a React project. So how do we start a React project? Okay, so this all theory is okay, and we'll come to that theory again. It is not like that. It is, I will not go through it. I'll go through it. But the thing is that first thing is that you have to create a React app. So React app is not like your normal like HTML, CSS, JavaScript. No, you have to, it React is a different kind of language and all those things. So at the end of the day, it gets converted into HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The main thing is that it gets converted into all those things. How does it get converted? So there is something known as create React app. So create React app is there. Okay. So don't open this link, open this link. So those who don't know, React is created by Facebook. So we'll come to that. And this is how you start with a React app. Okay. So you do something known as npx. So for React to work on a system, you should have npm installed on your system, and the version should be 5.2 and higher. That is required because we are going to use all of the npm packages. In fact, React is itself an npm package, totally open source, and it's a React, it's npm packages. So this is how you install. A lot of people are going to get error if they have already done React in the past and they've done it for npm install -g create React app. They have to uninstall it. Okay, that is one of the main thing. But I will come here and do this npx create React app, so that at the meantime we can go through the theory. It generally take 5 minutes, so it's better to do it. So I'm inside a folder, and from here command line is mandatory. You cannot escape the command line from here. So npx create React app. my app, whether you are on a Windows, Linux, Mac, it doesn't matter. You have to run this command. My app, the name can be anything. So I'm giving it my app. Okay. So I will start it and it will take 5-10 minutes, good 5-10 minutes. Okay. And if you get some error, please, yeah, you can ask me. I'll try to solve it. But a lot of Windows users might get error. Means generally that npm thinks it get error. It is not like Mac won't get error. Yeah, Mac have changed a lot because of the M1. So I also got a lot of errors and all those things were there. So let's get started with the theory because it takes actually around 5 minutes to be fair. And I'm streaming, so it will take a bit more time. Okay. So it's a JavaScript library and not a framework. So what does that mean? It means that React is actually very small. So that's why I'm able to teach it in 5 days. Angular also I generally teach in 5 days, but I teach in a hurry. You can see my Angular classes also. But as I told, to get a job, you need React, just not Angular. Because if there are 10 jobs are there, 7 belongs to React, 2 belongs to Angular, 1 belongs to your Vue.js. And Vue.js I'm not started. Maybe I know Vue.js, but I might not tell because it is not that much popular as React, maybe, and Angular also. So why don't we just create vanilla JavaScript project? Because vanilla JavaScript project are not scalable, they're not that much easy, and it has got hundreds and thousands of means lakhs of npm packages. You can add functionality for everything, and it is the most popular thing. You, as I always say on my channel, you know only 4 things you'll get a job. Estimate is a JavaScript and React. You'll get a job. There is nobody in the world who can stop you from getting a job if you know React.js especially. So all startups, everything works on React.js. Startups, enterprise, everything. Only except this Google, because Google created Angular. So Google works mainly on the Angular. So all this front end things, see, everything nowadays is everything is like React or Angular only. So this front end thing, see this nice. This is known as a web app. This I'm using something known as Google Slide. I think most of you might have used it. Nobody uses the paid Microsoft thing now, paid or whatever pirated or whatever is there. I mean, everybody uses Google Docs and all this thing. What are these things? They are glorified web apps. They are very big web apps, and this can be created with, this is mainly created with some JavaScript framework, because the website only understand web means browser only understand JavaScript. So these are all web apps. Google Docs, all these docs and all those things are very, very big web apps. They are created using either Angular or React, or Vue, maybe Vue also. But Google products are created with Angular. Rest of the product, like from Facebook to Microsoft, all the products, they are made with React only front end. So these are mainly used to create web apps, not websites. Okay. And web apps are the thing which is required nowadays. Everything is a web app nowadays. You, any company today nowadays which is getting out, any startup, they will first launch a web app. I'm also creating a web app for a company, a medical app. So we created a web app first. We have not created a mobile app. A mobile app comes later on. Mobile apps are a different thing, and mobile apps are also something which is very easy to do with React. Why? I'm telling. So as it, you can say, it is created and maintained by Facebook, and Facebook created it to solve its own problem. Those who don't know, Facebook is bigger than Google in the terms of the amount of traffic it gets, because Facebook have 3 billion people on its platform. 3 billion people means half of the people of this planet are on Facebook, and it gets a lot of requests per second. Even if the teenagers are not on Facebook, they're on one of its services like Instagram or something, they will be there. So it is like that, or WhatsApp or anything means Facebook gets a lot. So all of the top Facebook products are made with React only. Everything is made with React. The front end is all made in React. So Facebook, so you go to google.com. Google.com, the interface is not that much complicated. Facebook has a lot of things. Instagram has a lot of things. Everything is made in React only, and it has got 178K stars. Means it is totally open source. Anybody can use it. Use community. So those who don't know, 10 years back, 15 years back, no, nothing was open source. There was something known as .NET. It was not open source. It was, you have to pay for it. So only enterprise could have used it. Nowadays, any person can use it. Earlier, you used to have those licenses, basic license. Now you don't have. And it has got a huge community, means tons of article and Stack Overflow solution that is there. And it is the most demanded skill set for front-end developer. You just know React, you will get a job. And React Native, what is React Native? Which I'm going to cover in the last week of this month. React Native, which is used for mobile app development, is completely based on React. And React Native, we are going to do on 28th of March, 28th of March. 21st is Redux week. Okay, so that is like that. Okay, so React Native, you'll feel home. Like React Native is like 90% is React.js, only 10% some syntax are different. Okay, that is there. and you should know Flexbox for it. I'll come to that. And it has got completely React has a completely component-based architecture. Everything you will change it to components, and you'll find it is way too much easy than doing JavaScript projects. Okay, then there is virtual DOM. Okay, virtual DOM is something. See, it is a bit different. It is a bit different than your JavaScript. Okay, JavaScript and all. It's a bit different. DOM programming, which I've seen. So this is a virtual DOM. It's a theoretical project, theoretical thing that everything. Actually, DOM manipulation is very costly, or it it makes the project very slow. So what happens? It works on a virtual DOM, and behind the scene it updates a real DOM. So what is this real DOM? So whatever you do, document dot query selector and all those things are real DOM. And prerequisite is HTML, CSS, JavaScript fundamentals, and ES6. And JavaScript, this keyword, map reduce, filter, ES6, let, const, arrow function, almost everything. So we're done with enough of theory. So let's get started with the. Let me make it like this. And if you get this thing, it means React was installed correctly. And you don't have to install React nowadays. npx is a command which doesn't installs anything, but it will be there. Okay, so I have done this, and it is installed, and you'll get this thing like cd this happy hacking thing you'll get, and it will be there. Okay, so cd my app I will have to do as they tell, but I will do one more step. I'll open it with VS Code. My VS Code is installed on the path, so I can directly open it from here. You should also learn how to open VS Code like this. Okay, so this is a very good thing to open like this. Okay, so that is there, and now make it a bit smaller. And now what we are going to do here, I'm going to do a npm start. npm start you have to do to start a React project, and it will open at something known as localhost 3000. So you don't have to do any third-party thing like this, go live and all those things. You don't have to do in React. Okay, everything comes inbuilt. Like npm start, you do it will do the hot reloading and all those things. It will be done in that. Okay, so this is there. Yeah, there is no clarity. Okay. Okay. So at what quality you are seeing? The quality should be 720p. Quality should be 720p. So those who don't know, if you're watching from your mobile, so what happens, it gives you on the quality is 144p. Okay, you just go to the settings. There is a settings there, and just change the quality. It will be like 720p. I am streaming at 720p. I know it is not not a super HD. 720p is a good streaming rate. Okay, so please do change it so that your streaming is at the highest quality. So there is no problem from my side, because I'm seeing it on YouTube and all. Also hope everybody is seeing the clarity and all. I hope it is good clarity. Okay, so now the next thing which I'm going to do, let me check once also. Okay, one sec. Okay. Resolution. I hope it is at good clarity and all. Okay, no problem. I'll continue because I'm seeing it's at a very good clarity. Yeah, this thing happens. People generally see it at lower rate, and they think that there is some problem from my side. Actually, YouTube just give it at a very low clarity by default. It's a mobile network issue. Okay, so let's get started, and then after this, okay, what is ReactJS and all these things we have done. Okay, so let's learn how a ReactJS application actually starts. So what is the ReactJS application? Why it is means how it started. The structure is very important. So if you come to this, a lot of things were created automatically. A lot of things were created. Okay, these things were all of these things were created automatically. Like this, there is a README is there. So I'll go through most of them. README is nothing. A README file is there. Then there is a package.json is there. As I've told, React is also a Node.js and Node.js kind of a project. So this package.json will be there in all Node.js projects. So what happens in this package.json, all the dependencies and other things are there even if I and it adds the node modules according to that. Okay, so there is a React DOM. Okay, React is there and React DOM is there. So these are very important, especially the React version number is very important. It is 17.0.2. So this is the current version 17.0.2, and there was something which happened in React version 16.8. Actually, React before the version 16, it was mostly class based. Okay, React has two type of components. One is class based component, one is functional component. We're going to learn about both of them, class based component also and functional component also. But what used to happen, class based component was superior earlier, because it used to have something known as state and lifecycle methods. So those things were there, but those things were not in functional. But slowly in 5 years, means from 2015 till 2020, so what happened, slowly React people started to seeing that there was a class-based component were a bit difficult for everyone to understand, and there were some other issues also, like minification and all those things were there. So they slowly started to move towards functional components. So what the first thing they did, they added hooks, something known as hooks. You someone if have knowledge of React a bit, they added something known as hooks in React. Okay, hooks in React. So with that, what happens, React started to have the functional component also started to have the logic of state and lifecycle method. But I always teach class-based component first, because the hooks came in around 2020 mid, and industry approved it around 2021. It started out. So still, if a project is 2 to 3 years old, it will be in React design in class-based only. And those who don't know, means a project generally done 10, 20, 15 years like that. It is very difficult to change your version. And now also it might happen that you're going to work in a project which is a class based. Okay, so that is there. Okay, so okay. Okay, so this is the package.json. Then after that we'll come here. There is something known as public. Okay, public is there, public folder is there, and there is something known as index.html in the public folder. So what is this index.html and all? So index.html, the title part is like normal title and all. Something is there. But the thing is that this head is there. Okay, title is there. And see, this React app is coming from here. So I can learn React. I'll do, and I will save it. So it will be learn React. See, it automatically updated. But the main part is not this thing. Main part is this, in this body part, everything is blank. But the main thing is there. There is a div with ID of root is there. Div with ID of root. Now, what is the div with ID of root? Okay. So div with ID of root is there. Very important thing to understand div with ID of root. And I'll come to the SRC. Actually, this index.html file only is shown here, but in a way it is shown. So our React app actually start with something known as index.js. Okay, index.js it will start. And here, if you can see, there is React DOM.render, and React is there. And here, there is something known as an app, and a document.getElementID root. You don't have to understand much, but you should understand how it is working. Actually, you should understand that thing. So what is happening is React DOM.render. This is a Facebook people, they have done this programming. What is happening, it is actually telling this thing, so you should understand what it is telling. Okay, it is and I forgot to tell, attendance will be given at the end. Okay, so let me mention that also. Then attendance will be given at the end. Okay, so that is there. And okay, so what is this doing? React render. So it means that render the app, some app component in the document.getElementById by ID root. Those who have attended my JavaScript class, they know that getElementById by ID is something a DOM programming is there. So what it is doing, getElementById by ID root, getElementById by ID root. This thing it is getting, and this is app is there. So what React actually does internally, means it is showing us what it does. App component, the whole of the app component is been rendered through this. Sometime I have if you go to some JavaScript project, you will see that in one ID you will be showing all of the JavaScript projects. So React also work like that. React is a JavaScript library, so it's a JavaScript project actually. So what is happening, all the React code will be put inside this app. So everything is there. This is very important. Everything is shown here. So but what is this app.js? What is this app? So this script is okay. In this they have recently introduced. So what is this app? So I'll open this app. So how to open this thing? You click on control and keep the control pressed and take the mouse over it and then click over it. So it will take me to the app.js. So now you'll see this app.js is actually looking something like this. Why? It is looking something like the first thing is that it's a functional component. Don't worry about that. In React, what happens? One thing is that JavaScript and HTML are written in the same file, and this is known as JSX. JSX, JavaScript XML. CSS is different. Like CSS is C. Here also CSS is like CSS is like normal CSS. It's like a normal CSS. Okay, normal CSS. We are going to learn about it later on. But the main thing is that this file is like a weird kind of a file. In Angular, if you're coming from Angular background or you know a bit of Angular, everything is different. Like HTML is different, CSS is different, JavaScript is different. In React, what has happened, they have mixed the JavaScript and HTML together to form another kind of thing known as JSX. Actually, it is not that much tough as it is sounding. It is very easy. So basically, it is like inside a JavaScript, you're showing all the HTML. And in a normal way, it is much more easier than JavaScript DOM programming. Okay, so this is there because I found that from my students. So they think that React is much more easier than DOM programming. Okay, so this is like this div and all these things are their class name and all. We are going to come into that. This is known as JSON. And if you see closely, see this header, this logo, so this image, which is revolving, which is this image. This is SVG image. It has been shown edit src app.js. This has been lower. This has been shown. Some anchor tag is there. Learn React. So this is all. It has been shown like this. Okay. So this is how it is shown. And app.js is actual means this is all theory thing, and this is all good to know. But actually, app.js is our entry point in React, and from here only we will start to create components. Different components we are going to create in React from here only. Okay, so that is there, and what else? Nothing. Okay, that's too much theory. So let us understand. Let us start creating a component. So as I told, there are actually two kind of components in React. One is known as a functional component, and one is known as a okay. Let us understand from our code only, so that is much more better to understand. So one is a functional component and one is class based component. Okay, so we are going to understand about both of them, but for the first 3 days we are going to learn about the class based component. It's very important to learn. Last 2 days we are going to learn hook based functional component. Okay, so it's all theory is something, because I would love to do some project, but I have a lot of projects on my channel. This is all theory and this is all for absolute beginners. So we are going to learn definitely through example. It's theory, but it doesn't mean that I'll not teach code. Everything will be very beginner friendly. Everything will be through code. Only the thing is that you should know a bit of JavaScript and HTML and CSS. That is a must. Okay, so or else you will not understand most of the things. Okay, HTML, CSS, JavaScript you don't know, you will not understand most of the things. That's a prerequisite, as I told earlier. That's a prerequisite. So that is there. And first 3 days is class based, and next 2 days is functional hook based functional component. Okay, so it is like this. So and it will complete everything in React. Only that things, as I've told, that Redux is something which is very important for state management, which we are going to do next week. Redux takes complete week to be done. Okay, so that is there, and let's get started. And so first thing, when you're coming to this thing, you're seeing that a function is there. So this is like a normal JavaScript function, and we can have arrow functions also. We'll understand that arrow function. This is a normal function, and we have everything inside it. Okay, so this is also a functional component. We're returning this default app and all these things. Okay, so now the thing is that we want to create our own function, create our own component, not function, create our own component. So how we do that? Generally what happens, we will come here, I'll close this, and in this src folder, I'll come and do a components. Is there components? Is there? I'll do a grid.js. So inside a component folder, src I've created a components folder. Inside that I will create this grid.js I've created, and let us start using the React. So I'll do a import React from React. I'll do, and then I'll do a export const grid. See, I'm using a arrow based functional component, so that's why I told it is very important. So I'm using a arrow based functional component, and here I will have a like this return h1 hello world. So if you have one line, you can do it like this. If I have multiple lines, let me do complete change it to multiple lines. I have to do a square bracket, I have to do a normal bracket, and I can view it like this. Let me make it a bit nicer. So like this, I am doing hello world, export const hello world. So actually there are two ways to export and import a component. So all the components are different. So how to link them? So what is the app component will be my parent component. Okay, and I will link this grid component there. So there is two ways to define this grid component. Export const grid I have given, and I will save it. Now I have to use this. So this is some JSX which I'm going to tell later on. What is this is a component which I've created. Now I have to use it here, and all this boilerplate code, this is known as boilerplate code. I'm going to remove it because I'm not going to use it. And this is how you start a ReactJS project. When you get this boilerplate code, you'll just remove it. Okay. So now after this, what I'm going to do, I have to import this grid component. This grid component, I have to import it here. So in React, what happens, the app component is the parent component. After that, all the components are there, and you are going to show all this component from app component, and then from the other component, you can go to some other component. This is how all of the React projects has been created. So I will do now, okay, grid, okay, it's not coming. Okay, it's not coming. So okay, it is coming now. Grid, so it is showing me this. Oh, this is all because of VS Code showing me. I'll press a enter, so I don't have to type it completely. So like this, I will close it. This logo is not there anymore. I will cut it. Okay, so see, this is how you have to import it. So this is known as a named import, of named import, and this is something known as default export. We are going to see named import, and this is known as named export. I'm exporting this grid from here and using it here. And like this, I have to use a component is generally means, like, you might think it like a HTML tag. It is like an HTML tag only, but it is self-closing. It is self-closing HTML tag, but like a self-closing. And HTML also have self-closing HTML tag like input tag and all those things. But this is how we represent a component. I will save it and see. This hello world has been shown. It, as I told, it starts from the app.js. So this hello world has been shown like this. Okay, so it is like this. It is shown. Okay, then and increase the font size a bit. Okay, so this has been shown like this. As I'm told, this is something known as a default export. There is another kind of export. No, this is known as named export. There is another kind of export known as default export. So what is this good thing in this named export? Actually, you can export a lot of things from here. You will see this kind of example at least 5% of the times you are going to have this. Like the 95% of time we are going to have default export. So there is a benefit in this named export. You can export multiple things. Like maybe I can export like the same thing. It is not required to have the same name here. Okay, export React Grid hello React world. Hello React world. Okay, so this is like this is there, and I can have it means I can have hundreds of also like this. React Grid, it is coming, and it will take in this thing, get it and save it. So it is showing this like this. So this is the named import and named export. But as I told, we only use it 5% of the time. 95% of the time we use something known as default import or export. So let us create a new component for this, and that will be known as greeting.js. And okay, now instead of creating the component skeleton by hand like this, like we did it here. So as you know, in VS Code we have some shortcut for HTML, but we don't have any shortcut in VS Code for a skeleton. This skeleton of a React code. Okay, so for that you have to install one extension. This extension is this thing, ES7 React snippet. Just something. This extension is there. Just search it. Some React. I think you do something like React here. I think okay, the first extension is coming for that only. Very popular extension. So what is there? Suppose I want a functional component, and arrow-based functional component I want. So what I'm going to do? There are some shortcuts which you do and you start learning. React RA FCE I'll do. RAFCE, and then I will press tab. So this is something which you will learn. Means you can go to that component also. It will give you all the shortcuts, but I am doing it for such a long time that I know all this. Okay. RAFCE, and I'll press a tab after that, and I'll get this whole of the structure of this component like this const greetings and all. It is like this. It will give, and it will give me a default export. See, there is a difference between this default export and this export. This is exporting like this, and here I have this default keyword. So what is this? Like maybe I'll do a h2 greetings from React. I'll do save it. Now I have done this default export. Now I have to use it. So I have to use it again. I'll do a greetings like this. See, there is one more difference here. See the how it is import. This curly bracket is there in always in the this import like default like named import. Curly bracket is there, but in default import there is no curly bracket because it will always be having the same name only. And in this case what I did, I have two exports and with different name, but here it should be with this greetings name only. So I'll now save it and see this greetings from React is coming. Greetings from React is coming. So this is how this is done. So now we are going to look into class-based component, because class-based is something which we are going to learn for the next 2 days. After today we're going to learn from the next 2 days. So let us create a class-based component, and class-based component, I will come here in the component. I'll create a new component known as welcome.js. I'll do, and then the shortcut again, I'm not going to write everything. The shortcut is known as rcc, and press the tab, but they don't give the complete skeleton correctly, because no React developer use like export default. You can use it like this, completely valid code, but every React developer love to use it like this, export default welcome. So class, let it be there. And now as you can see, it's a complete ES6 class. It's a ES6 class. So let us go through it. What is this ES6 class and all? Okay, so as I have told in ES6 also, I've taught classes. So classes are not that much powerful as in Java, but they are there, and actually they are created some on top of something known as prototype. Okay, that is there. Okay, but this is this something is telling like extends component. What is this extends component? Those who know a bit of class based, not that much required. Okay, so they know this extent is something known as inheritance. It is sort of inheritance. So actually this our class based component is inheriting from something known as component, which is given to us by React. Okay, and React is completely open source. You can go and also you can check. Someone was asking what is this component. Some of my student was asking in my paid class. So I was told, okay, so you go here in the component and you just click on it, and okay, it is opening here. So it will open you the complete code of the company. You can go through it on your leisure time. It is a very big code, actually, very big code. And this is what Java, just Facebook people or some open source people have written, and they have moved it to TypeScript. I'm seeing that they have moved it to TypeScript. That's a it is not required to have. React is one thing which I like in React. It is not mandatory to have TypeScript. Angular, it is mandatory to use TypeScript. TypeScript is, I feel it is a pain. It's a really pain to code in TypeScript. So that is like that. Okay. So this is there, and they have also given who have done all this thing, and all these things they have given. Okay, all these things export and all these things are there. So it is not necessary. I also don't know what is there. So what happens when you extend from React, you get all the React functionalities. Okay, so this is very important to extend from React, and you will get all the React functionality. And there is something different from we are going to see from now onwards. This one, not this one. This is very less used. So if you can see both of them, okay. So what is difference is that there is something the render function is also there. Soon we are going to see that there is a constructor is also there. So this render function is there, and here only the return is there. Okay, so earlier what used to happen in functional component, it doesn't used to re-render. There was no concept of state or something here. But now we have a concept of state. This also re-renders. So this render is actually something which actually re-renders sometimes. Means we're going to learn state, and we're going to learn that if something get re-renders, then the state get changed. That is the most powerful concept in React. State is the most powerful concept in React. Okay, that's made React, and that's why it got so ahead of JavaScript, pure vanilla JavaScript and all. So this welcome is there, and again I will do h3 welcome to world of React, save it. Now I just have to go here, and the way to do it is same. It is not like that welcome Again, it's a default export, so it will be shown like this. So welcome to the world of React. It's coming like this. So see, inside the main component, I've shown so many components. This is how a real production project also work in React. You're going to show all this component from app.js and you're going to show it like this. So that is something which will happen soon. And so let us go ahead. And now we are going to learn about JSX. So yeah, we have seen this all JSX and all. And actually there is not much to learn in JSX. Means actually there are some things which I want to tell. Okay, something like maybe don't want to teach much theory and all. So yeah, so JSX. Okay, so JSX there is something like there are some differences in JSX. Okay, so class become class name. Why class become class name? So what is this class become class name? See this thing. So div, we this is HTML class. HTML, we have classes in HTML, like to for the CSS we have classes like this. Class name equal to app it is giving. So I will go to app.css. So this dot app classes. This is the HTML class I'm talking about. So that become class name. Why that become class name? Why cannot use class? Because we already have a class in React, already have a class-based component in React. So React team have reserved that thing for the class. So it will not give you error, but it will give a very big warning if you give a uh, class name. If you don't give class name instead of class, so you have always have to inside this div, or maybe in S3 I will add some class. I have to use a class name. And then the next thing is that for become HTML for. What is this for? We those who have done my HTML classes, they might have HTML or CSS. There is something like label and IDs are there. There is a combination of label and IDs. So what happens in this label? There is something like for is there, and ID, the corresponding ID is there. But again, we cannot use for, because see, at the end of the day, this is a JavaScript class .js. It means that we can use for loop in it. So we can use for loop in it, although we generally don't use for loop in React. We use something known as for each. So again, the for loop is something in React. So we are not using it in here directly. So we, whenever the label we are going to use, we are going to change it to HTML form. And then other things that property naming convention are always in camel case, like on click. So this on click is something which is there in HTML also, but we change it to C is capital, tab index, I is capital here. So this is something like that. So all these things are there. So this is just the only thing which is there I wanted to tell. Okay, so screen again, someone came, screen is very blur. Screen is actually not blur. I am broadcasting at 720p. I'm broadcasting at 720p. Screen is not actually blur. Please go and change your settings to 720p. Screen is quite fine. Okay, screen is quite fine. Please do it to a 720p, and the settings you do 720p, it will be okay. So generally people, when they watch from the mobile, they watch it at 720p, not at 720p, but I'm telling 144p. So you can do it, and screen is completely fine and dandy. So please do that. Okay, so I've zoomed a lot. Actually, I cannot zoom more than that. Okay, so let us go ahead of this. Okay, and then what I'm going to tell. Okay, so now we are going to learn about one of the very important concepts in React, which is known as props in React. Okay, props in React we are going to learn. So what is this props in React? Props is the first major concept which I'm going to teach. Okay, so like straight props is the thing. So props are the way to pass data from the parent component to the child component. So from the parent component to the child component, the way to pass the data. Just sometimes people get confused a lot of what is this. No, it is just the way to pass data. What is the parent component? App is the parent component. These are all the children components. That's why they've been shown here. Okay, that's why they have been shown here. So first thing is that I am going to comment this out. This too I am not going to use anymore. And this, first we are going to learn how to use props in a functional component, like ratings I'm going to use. Okay, so I am here, and let me do it 3 times, save it. So greetings from React is happening. I don't want to show greetings from React, I want to show something else. Okay, so that I will change a name equal to JavaScript name equal to name equal to shift react bjs I'll add. So greeting. So what is this name? So name is something known as a prop. So here nothing is a keyword. First thing is that you should understand nothing is keyword. This thing I can pass anything. This is a value which I can pass anything. This name is also not a keyword. I can pass color, address, anything I can pass. And it is not like that I can pass only one prop. I can pass hundreds of props also. This is how I pass the data. Now I pass the data. Now how to get the data here? How to get the data in the greetings? The main thing is there. How to get the data here? So when you pass the data like this, there is a special thing in React. It is where it passed by something known as props. Props. It is known as props. Props I have written, and then I will write here. So what is this props? Let us see what is this props. Okay. I can do a console.log of props. Props. When we are going to see props is actually an object. It will come as an object. Okay. I will inspect it and console it. See, it is coming as an object. It is showing me, okay, it is an object which is coming, and this greetings line number 4, it is coming. Okay, so this object is there, and I will do. So it is like name is JavaScript, name is Shift, name is React. So object is there. So how to access an object? I want to access this value. I want to access. I don't want this name. I want a value. How to access an object? I've told that in the JavaScript. To access an object, we have to do like this: the object dot the whatever the name. I have to do object dot key. Object dot key. So means here I have to access it like a props dot name. Props dot name I have to do. Okay. So how to do the props dot name? So I want to do the props dot name somewhere here. But how to do a variable here? How to do a variable here actually? So to do a variable here inside a return statement or a render statement, what we have to do, we have to give a curly bracket. We have to give a curly bracket. This is how it works in React. You have to give a curly bracket and have to do props dot name. So props dot name, why I did props dot name? Because this is the props dot name only. So I will save it. Greetings from JavaScript, greetings from Shift, greetings from ReactJS. This is how props work. See, and this is now also showing a bit much more easier way. If I click it here, so it will be shown like this. Okay, so this is like this, it will show. So this is what props is all about. Props is been passed to a functional component like this. So let us, there is one more thing in props which I want to tell. Okay, so 90% of the time you're going to pass props like this only, but there is 10%, yeah, 10%, not I'm telling 95, 10% of the time there's a special kind of props you will pass. Okay, and that kind of props is known as children. So which is actually very important to understand this children. So what is this children? Children is something like this. I will come here. See, most of the react components which I am doing this self closing like this, self closing. 90% time we are going to do this like this only, but sometimes what we are going to do, we are not going to self close it, we are going to do it like this. Okay, like this greeting. If I do it now, nothing will happen, it will not give me any error or something. But I want to do something else, means I want to pass something between here. Language of iOS apps maybe. So I'll save. Wait a sec, let me clear it and run it. So see, the name props is this. See the second one, name props is there, but there is something known as children. I didn't give the children or something. So what does that mean? That means anything which I pass inside this, it becomes a children. The name is children and it's a keyword. The name is children and it's a keyword. So children is there. So I'll come here and just greeting from this, and h2 is like this. Okay, h2 is like this. Now I will give a maybe a p, and inside this p I'll give something like props dot children. Props dot children I'll give. Now props dot children, and it should show, but it will not show. It will give me a big error. Big error it will give me, and that error is self-explanatory. What does that error say? That error says adjacent JSX element must be wrapped in an enclosing tag. Did you want a JSX fragment? So what happens in React? You cannot start something with a h2 and end something with a p. It is like that. See here also it started with a div, and end it with a div. So you have to either start and end it with div, or you start or end it with a fragment. So generally we'll see that mostly people don't start, if they created their own component, that's something known as fragment, not a div. So I have taught Flexbox and Grid also. So in Flexbox and Grid, as I've told that if I give like your, if you have something as div, it is taking as its own children, and it might hamper that thing. Styling things get hampered. I have seen this lot of production. So what the React team came out with, they came out with something known as an empty element, and that is especially in React only, nowhere else. Even it's not a span, it is like an empty element, and that is like this, like this. Two empty brackets are there, which means actually means empty elements. It will not, when the browser you will see, it will see like there is nothing there, and you have to wrap it with like this. And either you can wrap it with a div, span, or anything else, or you can wrap it with a fragment. So most of the time you'll see that people will wrap it with a fragment. So I'll wrap it with a fragment, and the error has gone. The error has gone. So if there is some error, even it shows this like this red thing. Okay, I'll do a save. See now again, okay, I don't want this, but okay. So this is like this props, this is p is coming, props is in the language of iOS app, so which I was passing, language of iOS apps. So this is how it is there. Now if I do it in a class based component, so it is very easy, like it is like similar to this only. Okay, so now I will open this welcome, and maybe I'll have a char here so that we can differentiate. And in React, one thing is that everything, if it's self-closing, it should have this backslash, or else it gives error. Okay. Let us again have something like some name, like name, again some programming language, like React native name equal to Flutter, and here name equal to Java. But in this one, let us have this self-closing, not self-closing like this I will have. But here I will not pass any text here. I can pass actually anything here. I can even pass a button here. Okay, I can have a button here, click from Java, maybe like this. I do save it. So now welcome to the world of React, because I'm not doing anything here. Okay, let me close this thing. So here what happens, a class-based component, if you come to a class-based component, what is there? The class-based component, the thing is there is no parameters. Okay, in functional components I have a parameter, so I was passing the props there. There was a parameter, so I was passing the props. There is no parameter here, so how I will have access to these props? And this is here that this keyword comes into play. This keyword comes into play here only. Okay, so like this, I'm here, and then here again I want to show two things like props dot name and all, and so let me do this welcome. Okay, like this I'll do, not props, because I don't have props. I'm not this dot props dot name, this dot props dot name I'll do. And I have a children also, so I will have a like p this dot props dot children, this dot props dot children is there, and now I'll have the starting and ending like this, and I'll commit like this, like this. So this fragment is there, and like this it is there. So everything is coming, welcome React Native, welcome to Java, and click for Java, because I am passing these children only in this last one. I'm passing the children. So this is how the props works, both children props and this props, it works like this. So that is there, and this is about the props. So let's go ahead, and we will learn about maybe okay. Okay, so we'll learn about the most important concept in React. Okay, so we have time, we have more than 20 minutes, it is okay. In 20 minutes we can do it. Okay, so that concept is the state concept, and which is what made React. It's concept of state. Okay, and we are going to see that concept of state now. And we're going to start with the class-based component. As I told, this concept of state will be taught in a hook-based component on Thursday. Yeah, because hook-based components I will start on Thursday. So I will create another component now. Okay, so that component is like counter.js. I'll do counter.js, and it will be class-based components RCC. I'll do. Okay, and then export default and counter. And here the concept of constructor is also there. The concept of constructor was always there. In a class-based component, there is something known as constructor. So this constructor is what? This is constructor which we have learned in ES6. Whenever this class is been called, whenever this class is been called, means whenever I'm going to call it from here, this constructor will be called once. So this constructor, again, a shortcut is there, which is r const. I'll do this like this, and it is showing me, it is giving me this dot state. It is giving me. So what is this dot state? Okay, this dot state is the state concept. So let us understand. It's an object. First thing, it's an object. I'll do a count of 0. It's an object. So this dot state is an object. So I'm giving an object, and then it's got a key value pair. And this is something which you can have anything. Like you can have 100 key value pairs also in these things. In big project I've seen there are hundreds key values pair in this state. So that is like this. Our render is there. Now what we are going to have, we're going to have this div, and in this, inside this div, or advantages of React Native. React Native is used for mobile development. That is completely different than React. Okay, React Native we are going to do last week of this month. Okay, if you're asking about some other advantage, what I can say is it is used for cross platform development, and it is like Flutter, but it is much more older than Flutter. Okay, so that is there, and so this state is there. And how to see this value, actually this count value, how to see this count value. So we might do it as h1 and count like this dot state dot count, this dot state dot count I'll do. So because see, this is an object. Okay, so this dot state dot count, I want the value of 0. So this dot state dot count will do. I'll save it, and I have to show this thing. So counter I have to show. Actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to comment this all out. This is how we comment in React.js. Okay, so I'll select everything and control backslash I'll do, and this is how we comment inside a return statement. So this is different kind of commenting system is there. Okay, this is there, and I will comment this all also out because I'm not using them. And then I am going to use this new thing which is known as the counter. So this counter is there, and I'll import it. This import statement is good, important. So I'll do this, and this is a counter. Count of 0 has been shown. Count of 0 has been shown. Okay, so that is there. Now this count is shown, but our main thing is that I want to update this count somehow. So count of 0 has been shown, so I want to update this count. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a button now. I'm going to have a button now. So button, okay, button, and it is like a increment button, and again it is yelling at me because I have to wrap it in a fragment, or else it will give me error. Like this red thing I'll give me. So I'll wrap it like here, and increment is there. So now we have on click handler here. So on click handler equal to this. This is used a lot here. Okay, I will tell you all to go through in my channel. There is a, so search for this keyword or something. Maybe I can put it in the comment or something. There is something known as this keyword. This is a very complicated thing, and I cannot explain it in this series, but I have a good video on my channel. You can watch that. What is it, this keyword and all. Okay, so this dot increment count. So what is there? This dot increment UNT. Okay, let me do one thing. This is, I don't want this to be this much big, so let me have it like this. Okay, this dot increment count, I'm having this dot increment count. What is this dot increment count? Just a function which I have to call. So this dot increment count is a function which I have to call. So I will come here, and so this button has been done, and now I have to call this dot increment count. So increment count is a function, as all classes can have functions, so I can have also function. So increment count I'll do the like this, and then I'll do a like this. Okay, and I will have something known as this dot set state. So this is a very important concept. What is this dot set state? Okay, this dot set state count. So to update the count. See, the moment I will click the count, I want this count to be increased to 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5 days like this. So I cannot directly do the count is equal to count plus 1, although we are going to try to do that in another 2-3 minutes. So whenever you have to update the state, this is not a state variable, you have to do it through this dot set state. There is a function this dot set state. Inside that, you have to send an object. Say I'm sending an object, count is this dot state dot count plus 1. So this is how you will do. So save it let me save it, and one more thing, I'll inspect it because there is a bug in this code right now. Okay, so I'll do here and click on this increment. Click on this increment. I will think that it will increase the count, but it will give me an error. This is giving me error because I cannot read property undefined this. So what is happening in, although this keyword is available throughout the class, this keyword is one of the main reason is this, but when we do it like this, it is not binding correctly with this function, and we are going to see some methods to bind it correctly. Again, this keyword, you go through my channel, there is a good understanding you get of this keyword. Okay, so that is there. Now here we have to do one thing, like there is a JavaScript, there is a bind method, so we have to use in the constructor this dot increment count equal to this dot increment count dot bind this. If we have to do this every time when we have a function, there are some other ways to avoid this. We're going to see it in the next class. Okay. So that is there. Now I'll come here and now I'll increment this. Okay, I'll increment this and see. Yeah, I will give the attendance. I'll increment this. See, it is incrementing. See, it is incrementing, and I'll increment this. It is incrementing. It is incrementing. So this is working fine. Okay, so mark your, please do mark your attendance here. Okay, no problem. Okay, so this is there, and okay, so one more thing. So we still have time. So what I was telling, why this set state is required, why this set state is required to increment it. Okay, why cannot we directly do it like this? Okay, so like this, why this is required, I'll tell why it is required. So I will comment this out. Okay, I will comment this out and I will try to change it directly, like this dot state dot count equal to this dot state dot count plus 1, and then another thing is that let me do a console dot log of this dot state dot count. Let me see what is there, and I'm trying to directly increase it. Okay, so now I'll come here and now I will increment it. See, it is still 0, but this count is actually increasing. This count is actually increasing, but this is not increasing. Actually, the count is increasing, but this is not increasing. Why it is there? Why it is like this? Why this is like increasing, but the count is not increasing? Because this render, there is a property. This render function only runs. This is very important to understand. If the state, if the this dot set state is run, this dot if the state is changed through this dot set state, then only it will run. So this dot set state not only changes the state, it also rerun this render function. Render function is something which is re-rendering this DOM. This is known as DOM, and this is the one of the most powerful concept of React. So this dot set state, it is very much required when we do this thing. Okay, so that is something which is very much required. Okay, and we are going to change it back to, yeah, you can, this is a different form, you can fill it. So this time I'm using different forms because some people like to attend some classes multiple times. So that is good. So okay, so we have to use this like this. We cannot use this. Okay, and then I will move it at the top and there. So we have to use it like this. Okay, so let me save it now. But let me now increment it. So it is incrementing. 1 is there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whatever is there, it is incrementing correctly. But then again, there is a problem here. So see, this is 9 right now, and this is 8. This is 10, this is 9. One, always one behind, because we have put this console.log, so we understand, okay, this is always one behind. So why is this issue? So because actually React is very fast. The moment it sees this dot set state, actually it will go to the render and run it all, and then it will come back to the console log and it will do this console. So if I don't want this thing, if I there are, so 99% of the time it is okay, it is not required to have something else, it is okay. But sometimes what happens, sometimes you want something to be run before it goes to the render, not like I'm doing just a console log, but sometimes you require something else also. So I'll do a relax, and then I'll do a comma. I can pass a second parameter here like this, arrow function, and you can do anything here like this. I'm doing this console log. So what will happen, first this console log will run, this dot set state will come here, console, it will update the state, and then it will do this console log, then it will go to the render. So I'll save it now. See, now I will clear it and I will increment it. 1 1 2 2 3 3 4 4 5 5 6 6 7 8 9. So it is doing like this. Okay, so this is how it works, this is how it will work, and it is working fine. Okay, so yeah, so with this we have come to end of for today's class, and hope you all liked it. And this is a starting. We are going to do a lot tomorrow, means tomorrow also this class based thing will be doing, and try to complete it, means tomorrow or day after tomorrow. It's a class base is a bit longer, means life cycle matters and all those things are also there. And then the next last 2 days we're going to do hook based things. Okay, keep on. And react.js, as I told, this is the most needed skills in this, because if you have the react.js skills, you will easily get a job. Okay, you won't even have to ask for a job, because most of my students get a job halfway through the react.js course. Okay, so one of my paid student got a job halfway through my paid boot camp. Job halfway through my paid boot camp he got, because I, in my boot camps and all, it is mandatory for people to post their all of their assignments on your LinkedIn. Okay, it is mandatory. So I get behind you to post them, and to post them you will get a job. This was sure, means you post even 5 6 react.js projects, you will get a job. Some HR will contact you. Post it on LinkedIn. As I always say, that post it on LinkedIn, tag me, I'll retag you, and you'll get the visibility of 20,000 people. Okay, so just do that thing, post some react.js project, tag me on LinkedIn, I'll post you back, you'll get the job. As simple as that. Because a mechanical engineer got a job like that only. He just had gone to, he has just learned react.js from going through all of my videos and all, going through my certification, going through my videos, posted 5 projects, only 5 projects on LinkedIn, got a job in a startup of 15,000 rupees. He's a mechanical engineer. He was like over the moon. A mechanical engineer don't know anything about coding, getting a react.js job is like in 1 year he'll get a 10 lakh package, which he cannot even dream of. Those who don't know, mechanical engineer don't get that much salary. Okay, so with this I will end today's stream, and we'll all meet tomorrow at 8:30. Okay, thank you all. Bye.